Hi. So have you ever lost a loved one or someone you love to gun violence? Or have you yourself ever been a part of a gun violence incident in which you were hurt? So this is why in my speech today I want to talk about how gun violence is a really big issue that affects everyone around us and that we need to solve. In a study by Very Well Minded, they stated that in 2020 alone, there were almost 20,000 gun incidents in just that year alone, which is so crazy to think about because every year more and more gun violence incidents happen that we don't even know, things that aren't mainstreamed on like the news and things like that we don't know of. There could be way more numbers that aren't accounted for, which is just crazy to think about. So in my speech today, I want to come up with solutions into what we can do as individuals and humans to help have a better place for our kids and future generations for us to live. So my first solution is that we could have more extensive background checks. I know usually when you're buying a gun, they'll just check that you're of age first and that you know how to use the gun properly. You usually have to take a class or some type of like gun um 101 basics on how to use the gun, how to properly load it, and how to put it on safety. I think we need to check more into the individual, such as mental health. Like, are they seeing therapists? What about things that they've posted online, or maybe things that they've liked or retweeted on such social media apps? I think we really need to know who we're giving this such a deadly weapon to, because who knows what they can use it for if they have it for the wrong reasons. And also another solution that we have is we have to raise the age limit for guns. Like 18 is not old enough. 18 is not old enough to be able to have a gun. Literally at 18, you're not even allowed to buy alcohol, so there's no way you should be allowed to buy a firearm. At 18, I didn't even know where I wanted to go to school, so there's no way someone that my age knows that what they want to use a gun for. If anyone at 18 is buying a gun, there's no way we as people can think it's for the right reasons, which is why we need to be more attentive of what we're doing and what we're giving out such deadly weapons to. At 18, you're barely even getting your driver's license. You're barely having yourself on the insurance. I think we need to really understand what we're doing and fix the issue. We need to limit gun violence in the areas that we love. So many kids are barely even living out their futures because their lives are being ended short of towards gun violence. We've had so many school shootings where little kids who literally just go to school to color, learn numbers, are dying. Their parents are dropping them in the morning and their parents aren't seeing them anymore. I think we really need to address the issue. And the issue is that mental health is a really big issue when it comes to guns. We're allowing young adults to go in when their headspace isn't right or they're not feeling well. They just buy a gun and the first thing they think of is, I want to harm people so that everybody can feel how I'm feeling. I think that's the issue, is we're not looking hard enough. I think sometimes the signs are there, family members aren't seeing it, and we need to be able to identify those signs and really help this person before we allow them to have such a gun device. In a quote by clinical counselor Danny Taylor, he actually stated that requiring a mental health assessment in a crucial step is ensuring that we people who wish to own guns are in the healthiest frame of mind when they assume the responsibility of owning that gun. And I think that's a great quote because it really helps us understand that guns end lives. Like, if you were shot by a gun in the wrong area, you can die, or it can be a family member. It doesn't have to always be you. You don't have to be affected by it personally for you to want to change it. I think there's a lot of issues. People are like, well, that happened to me, so that they kind of let it slide by. And I think that's really something that we need to address. Just because it didn't happen to you this time, you don't know what can happen to you next time. So I think that's a really great quote to show people that we need to really take account to how dangerous guns can be and how we don't know what can happen. We may sell somebody a gun and they think, oh, we just give them to them because they want to be safe. But deep down, they've been having this plot for months, how they wanted to shoot up a school, how they wanted to shoot up a party, or just something like that to be able to cause harm to other people. Another solution that I have is that we need to raise the age limit on guns. In Texas, at 18, you're allowed to buy a rifle, but not a handgun. But in Texas, also at 18, you're not allowed to buy alcohol or tobacco. Just saying that is so absurd to me because if I'm allowed to buy a firearm that can literally kill somebody, but I'm not allowed to buy alcohol, when people literally drink alcohol at any age and are perfectly fine, I think that just in its own just shows how bad our government is failing us. Literally, on my 18th birthday, I didn't do anything, and I could have went to go buy a gun if I wanted to, but I didn't because I know the effects of having guns, and knowing that being in the right headspace can really affect what people would do with the gun. In another quote by the Texas Tribune, they stated the fact that the gun responsible for this week's massacre in Uvalde was able to buy two, not one, but two AR-15s days before the 18th birthday highlights how much easier it is for Americans to purchase rifles than handguns. In this shooting, Uvalde shooting, it was an elementary school where 19 kids and 5 teachers died because an 18-year-old boy came in and shut up the school. At this 18-year-old boy, he had signs of he was killing cats, he was unaliving animals, and dissecting their bodies, but we ignored these signs and allowed to still sell him a gun, which ties me back to my first solution is that we need to really look into who the person is that we're selling this gun to, because something like this could have been avoided if we saw the signs from his parents who were scared to say it, were scared to speak up, and I think this is really what we need to fix as individuals and humans to be able to help such a incident. Now let's review what I'm trying to get across. I'm not saying that guns are bad or that we should not have guns at all, but I think we should really think smartly about how we're using the guns and how we're giving guns to people, especially people younger that are still in college, still in school. I don't think a gun is necessarily the best thing to be able to give us, or not just me, but just in general, because people are not really thinking what to do with it. They just like, oh, I can get a gun, let me get a gun. But it has so many consequences, and I think that we really need to fix that. So raising the age limit first is the first thing that we can do, and a more extensive background checks, because who knows, this time it might not be you, but the next time it could be someone that you love, or even just in general, like having kids die it should hit your heart and be like, no, we need to fix this.